Hey, this is Daryl Henry with Insurance for Entrepreneurs, and this video is Does my Maryland business need workers' compensation insurance? And I'm going to answer the question whether your business needs workers' compensation insurance based on several criteria. The short answer is if your business has employees, you need workers' compensation insurance. That's what Maryland state law says. If you have one paid employee, you need workers' compensation insurance. Every state's a little bit different. Virginia's different, Pennsylvania's different. DC is different, but in Maryland, if you have a paid employee, you need to have workers' compensation insurance. So that can include full-time employees, that can include part-time employees, that can include seasonal and temporary workers. It can also include subcontractors and independent contractors if they don't have their own workers' compensation insurance. So this is a topic that people get stuck on very regularly. I'll ask the question, do you need workers' compensation insurance? And people will say, no, I don't need it. All my people are 1099s. That's not how it works. Whether or not you pay someone on a W-2 or a 1099 does not change the question of whether or not they need workers' compensation insurance. If you are paying them and they are going to be on your job site and you're going to tell them where to go and what to get done and how to do it, they need workers' compensation insurance, and you as a business are on the hook for it. This can end up being one of the primary sources of pain for people at audits is they'll bring on a lot of independent contractors. Those contractors will not have workers' compensation insurance. The insurance company will count how much has been paid to independent contractors over the course of a year and then say, hey, you owe us all this extra money for workers' compensation insurance because they weren't insured. If they got hurt on your job site, we would have had to pay the bill. So there's only a few ways that independent contractors truly are not required to be covered for workers' compensation insurance under your policy. And there's criteria that I can't go through here. If you Google it, you can find it. But basically, they have to be able to show up whenever they want, do the job however they want, come and go however they please. And then, really, the number one criteria of whether or not they need to be covered under your workers' compensation insurance is if they have their own workers' compensation insurance. That is the surest bet to make sure that a subcontractor or independent contractor does not need to be covered under your workers' compensation insurance policy. So that's one of the stickiest parts for a lot of people with workers' compensation insurance. Now, there are some exemptions on who needs to buy workers' compensation insurance. A lot of it comes back to owners. Sole proprietors, when it's only one owner, are not required to carry workers' compensation insurance on themselves. LLCs, the owners, are not required to carry workers' compensation insurance on the owners. Now, you should still think about that and make a business decision because at the end of the day, workers' compensation insurance pays for medical benefits and lost wages and disability benefits if somebody gets hurt on the job site. A lot of times, workers' compensation benefits can be better than health insurance because there's no copays, no deductibles. So it's very important to consider the cost and make a good business decision about what you're doing if you're going to choose to cover owners or not cover owners. So there you go. That is who needs workers' compensation insurance and who is covered under workers' compensation insurance for Maryland businesses. I hope it helped. If it did, please hit like and subscribe. It helps other people like you find the content. If you want more information about me, check out my website at insuranceforentrepreneurs.net. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Go build something great.